Because his presentation is going to be about what he wants to do to continue to bring our communities together. We have our lawyer here that's helping us work through our bylaws and our other rules and regulations, and that works with us. But most importantly, the same thing that happened in the brown community. Maybe not as far as the depth of the immigration, but we need to be all on the same page. I've been over to their meetings, and they've been to our meetings, and I don't know if anybody is over there, but when I go to their meetings, you know what happens? Is that they make two presentations, and don't take a long time either. They make two presentations. One is in English, and the other is in Spanish. And I like the fact that they take time to do that, because guess what? It broadens all of our perspectives about what we could and should be doing. So, Baltimore, with homies, if you come forward and you know, just kind of give us a little bit of your presentation.
Thank you, Ray.
Baltimore Velasquez, everybody.
And here in the corner, so not standing in front of anybody. First of all, we want to create an institution, an organization of black and brown peoples, because we share a lot of things in common. We started almost 2 years ago laying the groundwork. We've now written some articles of incorporation. We're finalizing the bylaws, and but just for introductory purposes, I want to read you our a preamble to what this is really all about. I wrote this on a weekend over the summer as the rain falling, was in a tent, and to see what the heart of our communities have been historically. And I wrote that throughout the history of America, black and brown people have struggled to achieve the full rights guaranteed by the Constitution of our nation. In the struggle to overcome the historic institutions of oppression, heroic figures have creatively organized, resisted, stood against, many times at the expense of their lands, property, livelihoods, and even their lives. The ravages of slavery, tenant farming, the theft of the western U.S. from Mexico, and indigenous communities through the doctrines of manifest destiny and other euphemisms for predatory imperialism, community organizing has done much to ameliorate historic inequities, but much remains undone as we see past progress being reversed and dismantled. From civic participation, voting rights, to economic polarization, we see the ramifications of in our neglected neighborhoods, in the urban areas, and rural people frozen in time of the latter part of the last millennium. Through black and brown communities have valiantly struggled against abuses and inequality. Many times we watch each other's struggles with sympathy and not seeing the opportunity to bridge our own cultures to identify our common obstacles. We, the undersigned membership organizations, declare that we will no longer carry on separately, but work, identify, and strategize together in identifying common issues and collaborative solutions. The local chapter of the NAACP, the Flock Lobos organization, the Flock Homies Union, Latins United, the Toledo Community Coalition, and Local 500 Laborers International Union are the 6 corner organizations that established this group, which will be expanding after we institute our bylaws. In order for us to have a joint movement, we have to build an institution. The Civil Rights Movement could not have achieved what it did without the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, without the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, without the Congress of Racial Equality. Us Mexicans haven't had anything except Cesar Chavez and the United Farm Workers out in California, so we started Flock. But Flock has to be more than a labor union for agricultural workers, because we have many immigrant workers that come into the rural areas and into Toledo that suffer inequities, that suffer injustices, that suffer exploitation. And we need your help to overcome those obstacles, because the people in our way are the same people that are in your way to achieving equality. Right. And so we have to build an institution. It has to be a membership institution. We have to build numbers, and we have to build unity among us. So tonight we're here to propose one of the first things to bring us together. I'd like to want to bring up a couple of our homies, Carlos and Mia, are going to be giving just a very quick pitch on what we want to be our first project together.
Oh, God damn. How much time they got? How
much
much time they got?
Hey, listen,
How much time they got?
You gonna be under control, man. You guys.
How much time they got?
He got until I say he.
I got some questions for Baltimore then.
Hey,
I mean,
listen.
is this an NAACP meeting or is this some black and brown coalition meeting?
NAACP.
It's the NAACP meeting. I want to know how much time do he have allotted on the agenda, and I want to ask him some questions about the police beating black people and killing black people, and I didn't see Baltimore and I didn't see Flock out there.
You're out of control.
I ain't out of control.
Yes, you are.
If this the NAACP meeting, why don't you answer the damn question?
Hold it.
Or let me ask Baltimore.
Let you answer nothing.
Who are you?
I'm nobody.
Then get
Yes,
on
you
out
are.
the way
Yes, you
and let the president answer the question.
Quiet down.
Hey, man, you can't disrespect her.
I didn't see you out there. I didn't see you, Baltimore.
Baltimore.
You in here talking all that flowery language about you want to work with us when we was out in the street recently.
Hey, Nathaniel.
And you know what we came here for. We came to talk to you. You know what we came here for.
Issues first.
We didn't come here to talk with his stuff. You gonna put them on the front of the agenda?
That's right.
Absolutely.
We want to talk
I'm a
about
member.
our issues.
I'm a member and I object.
Yeah, well, you can
I'm
reject all you want.
a member of Flock.
No, wait just a
I
minute.
am a
Wait just a
homie.
minute.
This ain't no flock
Wait just a
meeting.
minute.
You a black
This
woman
ain't no
first.
flock meeting.
Yes. And this the NAACP. We want our issues addressed
This the
first.
NAACP meeting.
We was promised a spot on the agenda. We want to talk about our issues.
Y'all know what we came
before
here
we
for.
align with anybody.
You know what we came here
Okay,
for.
thanks. Now control your voice.
Who
Control
you
your voice.
talking to?
Control
Yeah,
your
who
voice.
are you talking
This-
to?
This ain't no.
This is the
This is the
NAACP.
Who you talking
and
to,
we
Ray?
came to talk to
I'm
you
talking to
last
you.
week.
We ain't
I'm
your
talking to
child.
you.
That's
Well, you
right.
We ain't
got
your
mine.
children.
Right.
Listen.
Now get your hands out my face. Get your hands out my face.
Won't he answer our
Your
question?
hands are directly in
We
my
at our
face.
meeting. Why would you
Your
disrespect
hands are
us that
directly
putting
in my
flock
face.
on the front of our agenda?
I got it. Please.
You know you dead wrong. You don't stand up for us.
I got it.
But you wanna
We
support
came here to
him.
talk about
You don't stand up for
NAACP
us.
issues.
You want us to align with him?
Sir.
No.
No.
Not today.
No, wait.
And Baltimore can answer for
I can raise
himself.
my voice as loud as you. This is
Baltimore
the
can answer for
NAACP
himself.
You are the president and
That's
you
right.
don't
That's
support
right. So
us.
shut up.
I ain't shutting up.
Shut up.
You don't tell
You
me
out of
to
order.
shut up.
Shut
You
up.
out of order.
That's right.
You out of order. He's trying to show out. Look at him trying to show out. Trying to show out. Look at him trying to show
Put
out.
your hands on me.
Trying to show out for the. Trying to show out.
We want to talk
Look
about
at you trying to show out.
issues.
At the
We
moment,
got plenty to talk
Trying to
about.
show out.
Hey, please settle down.
Trying to show out.
come on, we ain't prove it.
You weren't showing out like that when you was down there with the police chief and the mayor. You could talk real
We
tough
talk
to
about
black
black
people.
issues and what's
You
going
could
on.
talk real tough
We
to
don't
black
hear
people.
nothing about nothing else.
You could talk real tough to us. But you ain't had nothing to say to the mayor. You ain't
That's
talk like
right.
that to the police
That's
chief.
right.
No,
Told us to hush up, niggas.
right.
Hush up,
All right.
niggas. I'm at the table. You ain't saying nothing at the table.
You ain't proving nothing.
Hush up, niggas.
Because if not, we're going to ask you to leave.
Okay?
And you tell me to shut up. Who the hell are you?
I believe we're allowed to be
Raising your voice.
I believe this is the public library.
But if you're being
I
We ain't
can't
being
read right.
disruptive.
The first one
Right now,
times
exactly.
I came to
I'm a member of
Will
this
you try to
organization.
hide
I
me?
respect your frustration.
Will you try to
But
hide
listen, the
me?
disrespect can't
I'm
be
here.
I get it.
Who's disrespecting who?
Listen to him.
How do you put flock on the front of our agenda and talk to us about disrespect? I asked the man the question. I asked him how long. He told me this is he ain't got an answer.
We're talking about the NAACP and
All
our
he had to do was give him time. I gave him 15 minutes.
He told me to shut up. I never disrespected him. I told him I wanted our issues to talk about.
I got you. I apologize. Listen. All right.
He gonna give his time.
No. Wait just a second.
He gonna get his time.
I apologize.
You should.
I did.
You should.
I did.
Over and over again.
But let me just say this.
You don't know nothing about this. Don't talk to me.
Well, let me say
Don't
this.
talk
Let
to
me
me.
say this.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
And it's cool. Let me say this. This is an NAACP meeting.
It sure is black issues.
No.
The ones I brought to you, the ones that sent us to jail.
Okay, let me just say this.
That's what we're going to talk about.
Let me say this. What makes this?
Because you said August 14th,
We
we
deserve
got
the
a spot
same
on the
respect.
agenda.
We
So
deserve to
wanna
be
talk
talked to the
about our
same way you
stuff.
would the mayor
That's
or the
right.
chief.
We don't want to be
You
told.
wouldn't tell
we
them
don't wanna
shut
be
up.
told, shut up, nigga.
You wouldn't
I'm
tell
at
the mayor to
table.
shut up.
No, we all at the table.
Well, you ain't gonna. But anyway,
Oh.
listen.
Oh.
Listen to everybody.
But your black
to
brown
everybody-
brother can, huh?
That absolutely
No,
he
we
can.
gonna be at the table.
Right. And
Period.
listen, and to show you how hateful that is, we got
Oh.
guests, we got visitors
Whoa.
in this room,
Oh.
and here you are thinking that you go down.
We got
Baltimore.
family in this
Baltimore.
room who are being done wrong,
Baltimore.
and you don't care.
No, Baltimore.
Mr. NAACP
That-
president.
That's right. That's right.
You've
that's
hidden
right.
information just like
That's
all
right.
the other
But
corrupt folk. But you want to make an alignment.
I've been
with,
knowing Baltimore
alliance
for
with black
20 years.
brown,
I
huh?
know, and it's a shame that we have a guest that come to in our community.
No, because when he see
Let
your
me
face,
finish.
he don't
Let me
see the
finish.
face of the people.
Let me finish.
He
Let me
aligned
finish.
with you, not us.
I've been knowing Baltimore 20 years. He wouldn't let us come in his meeting and take over and get on the top of the agenda. I guarantee you that, Ray.
Let me say.
I guarantee you that.
He can stay if he wants to.
I'm not talking about him on the
Let me say this.
I ain't say he gotta leave. I just asked how long he got.
This is what happened when you cover shit up. This is the
step on
problem. This is what happened when you try to put people under the rug and not let the truth be told.
What is the
it
truth?
explodes
What is
in
the
your
truth?
face
What is
that
the
you
truth?
hid stuff.
What?
That causes
What?
us.
What was hidden? What was hidden?
Do I need to bring out the
Yeah.
whole email?
Yeah, bring
the
it-
whole
bring it
case
up.
I showed you?
Why don't you
the
let
one that
Baltimore
the case that
finish?
need 'em
Why
know?
don't you let Baltimore
You
finish?
right, because
Okay.
it speaks to
So we can
every
get to the
other
issues we
issue.
came here
I'm
for.
the one that put in the work
out of
and suffered
respect,
it.
so out of respect,
I put in the work and suffered it.
out of respect for everybody else in this room that don't want to be a part of your
Don't play me
individual
like
issue.
that. You know my work helped the city if you wouldn't have put it under the rug.
I ain't got nothing to do with
I
your
suffered
work.
what you wasn't
I ain't got
willing
nothing to
to
do with your
suffer.
work. That's between
I
you
went
and
to jail for the truth.
Okay,
you
so
hit it.
So I tell you what we gonna do.
You
I
hit
tell-
it,
I tell you what we
not
gonna
me.
do. I tell you what we
You
gonna
ain't
do.
gonna
I tell
flip
you-
it like that today. I went to jail for the truth, not you.
Okay, and why'd you go to jail?
For the truth, for defending
What was the truth?
myself, for
What was
standing
the-
up for black
what
folks
was the
just
truth?
like you won't
Okay,
do.
okay, who are we standing up for?
Us.
Who is
me
us?
first.
Who is us?
Us. Me first.
Me first. Okay, so what was the issue?
Goddamn right.
What
The
was
Toledo
issue?
Police Department, the Toledo TPD, all of the structural issues that you hid and won't address.
Because since you bring it up, because you didn't have driver's license.
No,
because
no,
you
no,
refused
no,
to
no.
get driver's
No,
license.
no,
You
no,
don't want
no.
to bring it up.
No,
beneath
no,
you,
no,
Ray.
no.
That's beneath
When
you.
you separate from the
You're
system,
supposed to be the leader.
When you separate from
supposed
the
to be the
system, you
leader.
get right back
You gonna
into
talk
it.
later on. Really talk.
Buying back
You supposed
into
to be
it
the
is
leader.
insanity.
You're the one bringing it up.
Buying back into
Okay,
the
okay.
system is insanity. You can't justify this.
Okay.
What are you trying to do?
Okay,
Totally
what do you want?
disrespectful.
What do you want?
Totally
I
disrespectful.
want you, as the NAACP president, to represent black folks' issues first. You
Don't go like
told
that.
me that you cannot represent us against the government. Then what the hell are you doing here? You can't stand with us against the government? What are you doing here?
Okay,
It's an
I'm
illusion.
gonna let you just talk until
It's
you
an
get finished.
illusion.
Okay, you finished?
If I need to interject, I will again.
Okay, and I'm gonna have
I am.
I'm gonna have to
He's
ask
been
you.
very disrespectful
I'm gonna have to
today.
ask you if you're not gonna be respectful. I'm gonna ask you to leave.
Can't ask me to leave.
I'm gonna
It's
ask
a
you to
public
leave.
library.
No, but
Have I harmed you?
No,
You
you don't have to harm me.
you said you was gonna call the police on me last week. Have I harmed you? And I'm in your face telling you
never
the
said
truth.
that.
That's the shit you try to hide.
But that's not what they're showing. What you have to
Yeah,
understand is that
you try to hide. And now the shit blow up in your face. Now you wanna
What's blown up in
tell
my
me
face?
to shut up?
Something-
You
that's right.
shut
What's
up.
blown up in my
You
face?
shut up.
Anyway,
Mr. President of the NAACP.
Anyway, for everybody that want to continue with the meeting, you can stay here for the meeting.
I'm done. You a liar.
We have an agenda.
Period.
And
You a
on
liar.
that's why.
A flat out liar.
Okay.
we up and get our leadership together.
Well, this is gonna work out pretty good then.
So it's not you, baby.
Listen. First of all, I apologize to Baltimore and I apologize to our guests because this ain't who we are. This is the first time that we had a meeting like this.
Yeah,
we know.
first time the truth been in the
Well,
NAACP.
well, and whoa. So that in itself, you can see who's wrong, that one or this one.
No.
But nevertheless, Nevertheless, did she say?
Let him
Did she
talk,
say?
please.
Did she say?
Y'all
Quote?
can speak. Y'all can speak. Y'all can speak. All this.
I got it. So anyway.
They didn't come to hear you.
Right.
Oh, the police come to here.
They're not paying attention to what you're talking about.
Are y'all understanding?
They hear
Are
me
y'all
bottom.
listening to me?
So anyway,
There you go. They listening to me.
anyway, in this meeting, we're gonna go back to what we were doing, and what we were doing is that we respect Baltimore. We respect everything that Baltimore does in this country, in this community. I got it. Yeah.
That's just about the Facebook Live and Nate.
It's like the first
No.
Miss Victoria, you having some business? Never mind.
That's what he want to do.
So anyway, like I was saying, if we want to continue the meeting, if you want to continue to get the information that we got, and Baltimore, if you want to continue with that, I'd appreciate that. We've never had a meeting like this before. Thank you.
Yeah, I got plenty.
Everybody's attention, please, for Baltimore. Thank you.
Look, I know we have a lot of building to do, and we have to learn a lot. And we've been teaching the homies about Black history, and that's why we make the following proposal. And I'm going to let Carlos make the proposal. Carlos?
Hello, everybody. My name is Carlos Wembes,
Yes.
Black Homies, and also I'm a participating member of the Black Brown Unity Coalition. Today, me and my fellow homies here are here to launch an event that will bind us together, that will immerse ourselves in an introduction to each other as a coalition. In order to do so, we proposed a 4-day bus trip to Greensboro and Goldsboro, North Carolina. We'll be visiting the Civil Rights Museum in Greensboro, learning and meeting with participants of the original sit-ins at the Woolworths that sparked the massive sit-ins in the 1960s that pushed to desegregate lunch counters throughout the U.S. The 4-day trip will be from September 15th to the 8th. In addition to the Civil Rights Museum, the 5th to the 8th, excuse me. In addition to the Civil Rights Museum, we'll be going from Greensboro to Goldsboro to have a 1-day immersion experience with flock and tobacco workers in their fight against the tobacco industry. We'll be doing this trip under the banner of the Black and Brown Unity Coalition. We hope that you support us through this trip and even join us through the journey. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So who can participate in that trip?
Yes.
Pardon?
Who can participate in that trip?
Well, we're inviting the 6 founding organizations of the Black Brown Unity Coalition to send a delegation.
Okay.
So the local chapter can select up to 10 people.
Okay.
And if we have, it's a 55 passenger bus. So we'll fill it up with delegation from each of the 6 organizations. So we hope we have a lot of Black and brown people together. We'll be fortunate to be hosted by the beloved community church in Greensboro. The Reverend Johnson was one of the student participants in those sit-ins at Woolworth, and he's a friend of mine, and he'll be hosting us for a dinner at his church the night that we're there after visiting the museum. And so we think we'll have a lot of time to talk on the bus. I told Ray that Yee and I have to be on that bus, and so there's going to be plenty of time to talk, and plenty of time to ask questions, get to know one another, and share what's in our hearts. And out of that will come presence and participation, hopefully join together in the common issues that we can identify, that we can take on together as a coalition. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
My name is Kelly Westmoreland, and part of the task that I have as Economic Development Chair is to bring together programs to enlighten, educate, so that you can own your own business, for entrepreneurship. If you wanted to look into buying homes, so that we can become a very vibrant people. So one of the young ladies I was able to meet, and her and I kind of hit it off very well. I'm going to introduce her and I'm going to allow her to take over from here. Her name is Kathy Tucker. If you do not have a home, if you're interested in maybe possibly refinancing your home, if you're looking to purchase a home in the near future, this young lady works in partial with HUD, if I'm correct. She is part of the Northwest Ohio Ownership Development Agency. So I want to have her come up here and kind of share some information with you tonight. If you don't know, if you don't have interest in it, maybe you can pass that information on. So, Kathy, please.
Thank you.
This corner for some balance. So I'm so excited to be here, and I'm so excited to share with you about what our organization does. I am Kathy Tucker. I'm the Executive Director with Northwest Ohio's Homeownership Development Agency. So our passion is empowerment through homeownership, and we look forward to really creating a movement, especially in our under-resourced and our underrepresented neighborhoods. So our mission is to prepare individuals and families for the responsibility of homeownership. And we have several fantastic programs for a wide array of different people. So for example, we have a couple contracts, one newer with LMHA, so we're working with the Housing Authority to make sure that temporary housing turns into permanent housing in the form of the American dream and owning the home. Our entire program is geared towards that. On the other side, we also help severely under-resourced individuals. We work with the Homelessness Board. We work with the Lucas County Human Trafficking Coalition to make sure that individuals have the financial support and substantial knowledge to buy a home. So my favorite part about the program is it's free, okay? And second of all, we actually, I have some pretty cool statistics to share about the Toledo area. So Toledo is actually one of the top 10 least expensive large cities in the United States to purchase a home, okay? In Lucas County alone, we have over 56,000 renters. And what people do not really understand, when I told them this, they're shocked. 70%, a little above, of individuals are renting single-family homes, okay? They're not in apartment complexes, and these homes are typically 2 to 3 times what it would cost to own the home. And I think it's very important to also understand that the difference in class and the difference in racial statistics as well. So, if wealth stayed the same, for whites, and Hispanics needed to catch up to the wealth line, it would take them 85 years. For us African Americans to catch up, it would take 284 years. And that's because our community doesn't understand the necessity for wealth through homeownership. There's only one thing on this planet that you can't make more of, and it's land, it's real estate. So when we get into our community and we learn that we will pass down wealth to our generation through owning a home, that is when we will begin to realize the American dream. And our program is all about education. We could build houses, we could build thousands and thousands of houses, but if we don't have the knowledge and if our minds have not evolved to be able to stay in the home, we'll never create that wealth for ourselves. So, most importantly, what we do is we have courses. We have a program that we start you from zero, and we work with you all the way until we close with you on your home, and 30 years after that till you pay your home off. We have a down payment assistance program, and we just formed what we call the Future Toledo Homeowners Alliance. And I have nearly 20 mortgage lenders, about 10 to 15 real estate agents, title companies, inspectors, and insurance agents, that we all come together as a community to provide these resources out to the community so that you know when you step through our doors that it will end in home ownership, whether you have income, whether you're homeless, whether you're a victim of human trafficking, or whether you've got the money, you've got the credit, and you just don't know where to start. We've had individuals who are approved for $20,000 homes, and we just had a family that was approved for a $300,000 home that went through our program. So we work with you on the ins and outs, we support you, and we ensure that the minute you step through our doors, empowerment through home ownership is what our vision is, and we make sure that we create homeowners, and we're doing it on a very large scale. So I'm going to leave some flyers, and I have some business cards. Please tell your family, your friends, the only way to take our neighborhoods back is to own them, okay? It's the only way to pass down generational wealth is through home ownership. Also, to change the subject a little bit before I slide back into my seat, my husband, who he couldn't be here today, is actually a police officer helping work on police reform, and he is actually the one and only ever black officer for Oregon Police Department. You didn't know that, did you?
Yeah.
So him and I work on a lot together, and hopefully we can get him in here at the next meeting. He's actually on training to be able to teach at the police academies for diversity, and he's working on minority recruitment. So I'll be able to bring him in, but as long as we come together and we all have the same issues and we all build, we all have our own, we all have disparities. And I see it when we're under-resourced and we're underrepresented. So as long as we all come together, we'll be just all right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. We did have another speaker from the RBC that's going to speak, I think, at a later time with the executive board of the NAACP. Thank you for that presentation. And we're going to go back to the regular order of business and go to our, we didn't, just a minute. So we're going to have our financial report. Ms. Francis is going to give us our balance in our account, and then we're going to continue on. As you know, we dispensed with the regular business with the when we started, so we'll fill in some spots that we missed.
Okay, as of today, you have a balance of $10,391.18.
That's the balance in our NAACP fund. We need a motion to accept that financial statement given by Ms. Francis from NAACP members. And motion by Charles, second by Sister Lynette Holden. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? So moved. Okay, we wanted to state that we're supporting the 8th annual 2-mile march to stop gang violence. We would like for you to support that as well. We do a pretty good job of doing certain things. It would be nice for us to come together as a community to stop gang violence. We're marching from Central and Detroit to Central and Stickney in the North End, an area that's seen their share of shootings and different things going on over there. So on August the 26th at 4 p.m., it would be nice if we could come together, bring our energies together, and meet on Central and Detroit, and then march down Central to Stickney to Woodward High School, and then we're going to have some games, some bouncies. Brother Chris can talk about it. He's been part of organizing that with some other people within the community, the 2-mile march to stop gang violence. So Brother Chris is going to elaborate on it.
How y'all doing?
Good.
So it's always good. I'm one who will stand when things are just not right. I don't care what it is, and it's easy for us to stand when things not right when there seems to be race involved. But there's but there's also opportunity for us to stand when things are not right,
Say it.
when it's about our own race.
Say it.
And just like I stood in between to protect our community from the police, from another travesty that happened, I'm standing with our own community against our black young boys that's killing each other in the same manner. And I'm asking you to stand with us. This is not, if you see this flyer out, you will see there's not an organization on top of this flyer for that reason. For the last 8 years, the community has been leading this march. It's not a typical march. It's not a hell no, we won't go march. It's a march to say that we're marching in solidarity. We're marching because we care about our young boys. And not only just the ones who are losing their lives, but we have ones that's losing their lives also to the penal system. That's getting 35 years, that's doing more time than they've ever even lived. So I'm asking you to come and stand with me. And more importantly, not just bring adults, but bring the children so that they can see the impact that it has over the community. We all have somebody in our family who's made some mistakes in their lives and ended up in the system because they've taken a life through gun violence or gang violence. So that's the thing about gang and gun violence, that it don't have a color to it. It don't have anybody, it's gonna happen to anybody. So therefore, I'm asking you to stand up, support with me, walk. We're gonna have food, we're gonna have beverages, we're gonna have live music, we're gonna have bounce houses, we're gonna have dunk tank. We're gonna march to Central and Stickney and be on the football field of Woolworth High School. We also, for the second year, we've added a back to school drive in this effort. So if you wanna bring any kind of supplies or utensils or backpacks, please do. Toledo Public Schools has already donated 50 book bags. So bring the children so that we can have these, give these bags away. If you want to be a part, you can either find me on Facebook or I'll be hanging around. I'll stay as long as I need to talk to anybody who wants more information about it. But I definitely ask that you support. If you want to support financially, bring more water, bring anything, just please let me know. It's a community event. Thank you.
Chris, can you give the date again?
Oh, it's August 26th. It's a Sunday. A Sunday at 4 o'clock. That time and date has worked for everybody. All right. All right. So therefore, I'm asking you to come out, bring your grandchildren, because when we started this 8 years ago, the goal was that, of course, I cannot end gang violence or gun violence right now, but the more generations that we have coming and the more young people that we come, they'll see the importance of what it is, and maybe when they get 10 to 15 years down the road, they'll understand that they don't want to make those mistakes because they've seen it happen over and over. We'll have some speakers. Chief Bird will speak on the in-depth experiences that he's had about being on the police department and being a first responder to these shootings. I'm sorry, what did I say? Police? I'm sorry. So he'll be there, and we'll have some other speakers as well. So I encourage you to come out. There'll be some step teams participating, some mentoring services. It's going to be a community event, and it's always been. So is there any other questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
Are there going to be any subcommittees from this march that's going to be made so we can unify our neighborhoods? Because a march is good, but when you get done marching, you still got to go home and you may have gun violence there.
Absolutely.
So I mean, is there going to be
I can answer. I know exactly.
And are we going to up in?
What's funny is that every year we do
paperwork?
that. Every year we do that, but we always have the march is cool, but the consistency don't come.
See, and that's where the subcommittees come in.
That's what I'm talking about. The consistency of the subcommittee dies down because, yeah, we will holler loud. We'll holler loud, but we won't holler long. That's right. And that's really my real issue. That hurts me a lot of times with our black people and our brown people is that we'll holler loud, we'll make a lot of noise, and it look good, yeah. But we ain't long enough. We ain't gonna outlast the cry. We ain't gonna go down to the jail and write letters to people that it really matter to. We'll holler loud to make a scene just so we can be like, hey, that was me. But it's not. It don't last, and we not. Like my sister said, she said, we're not even buying our own houses. You talking about paying taxes, and you don't even pay taxes because you renting. So you worried about the school department raising taxes, and you don't even pay it on the levies because you renting. But those are things we holler about, but we're not really coming together to really address the real issue. So I'm asking us right now that if you do want to do it, I'm with it.
Yeah, I mean by neighborhoods, by areas.
I mean, let's just start with a group of people.
Well, no. Because when you deal with crime, you deal with it in a neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to up and deal with those people in that neighborhood.
This is my thing.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, the crime has been happening in
Oh,
every
yeah.
neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
There isn't.
There is an area. I talked to a police officer today,
No, I'm not talking.
and he
talking
told
about,
me
like, police officers.
no. He told me that there are little hubs of crime. So why don't we up and go to those neighborhoods? A march is all good. I'm not against march.
That's what I'm
Our
saying.
people, the people that agreed to march. Let's go out and talk to our neighbors
I got you.
and build something there
And let's
to
talk
stop
afterwards.
the crime.
Let's talk afterwards.
Yeah, may I say something? My name is Cheryl Williams. I'm recently a Toledo public school teacher at Robinson Elementary School. I'm excited. I talked to somebody at the table about the thing of organizing. Like you have all these people at this event, and who's getting the numbers and the names of people, and some of the board members or somebody else is going to have to call them to organize. It's like there needs to be in the NAACP a paid or two paid organizers. That's all they do.
Absolutely. I'll take that in consideration this year. It'll be effective. I'll make sure that it happens this year. So if you want to be one, I'll have
Paid?
Okay, no, but it has to be paid, hon.
Working on the finances
No, I'm
about it.
talking about community organizers.
No, this is not
for
the NAACP.
community organizers for the NAACP. Somebody like at the University of Toledo, some student can write these grants for and two organizers for the, and that's all you do. You don't have to worry about the board.
So you're not really per se talking about this.
No, I'm saying that can be a vehicle to get names and numbers. Somebody needs to be out there getting names and numbers so you can get these folks together, and you can call them if you need to help me.
What? If you need to canvas and to communicate?
If you need to
together
push for an event or an ordinance or something, you have these people in a database.
Absolutely. I agree. Any other, yes, Miss Page.
A question answer. First of all, I'm offended by you say we yell loud and we don't yell long. Okay, I've been yelling for at least 20 years. So that doesn't apply to me, and it doesn't apply to a lot of the other people in this room. But you all created Miss Charmaine because you didn't listen to me. And I came in peace and quiet, but you all didn't want that. You claimed that I was Miss Charmaine.
Who
But
said
now
that?
you see Miss Charmaine, and I support Miss Charmaine.
Oh, I can sit down. Right?
Yeah.
No, you can sit down, stand up. One more thing I wanted to say. I get tired of coming to these community meetings and you say a prayer, a Christian prayer. All of us in here are not Christian. So if you're going to do a prayer, you have Jewish people, black, you have Muslim, you have Christian, you have who don't believe. And I think it does the community a disservice by not including everybody. I have been on with Reese for 20 years, Toledo Public School for 20 years, yelling and creating, trying to work with them. But now this is what we're going to have, and we're not going to stop. You might can shut us out, put us out, call the police, but we're going to be here until we get justice for our black children, our black families, and our black community. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
And you know what? We talked last week, Ms. Page, and I thought we had a pretty decent conversation. And I told you that I'd heard your name before, but the first time we ever had any contact. And I also said that we can have dialogue and we can agree to disagree, because what the NAACP does is a lot different from a lot of other groups. So I'm not trying to discourage anybody from doing what they do, because you do what you do, but we have to do what we do as well. And the NAACP, that's why we take the time to go over our mission, our vision, and our purpose, and that's to ensure the educational, social, political, and economic equality rights for all people. And our main purpose is to eliminate racial hatred and racial discrimination. What other people, what other groups, so part of our charge is to have collaborations, to have relationships, to have partnerships with people, and that's how the NAACP started. The NAACP started because of lynchings back in the 1900s. But if you had to try to protest, rally, demonstrate, or march back in the 1900s, how far do you think black folks would have gotten? They would have gotten very far. So what we did is that we did in the 1920s is that the NAACP had the wherewithal and the understanding that how are you going to be able to get your point across? So that's what they started doing then, and what we continue to do now is have conversation, to have the dialogue, to sit at the table and try to work those things out. Because if we had been trying to do anything other, we could have rallied all we want to for about 10 minutes. And I don't think that would have went too far, because we didn't have that type of position. So right now, whether it's, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm absolutely positively honored to be a part of dealing with Baltimore Velasquez and his group, because we do have a lot of things that we have in common, and instead of being in a situation where we continually be divided, we continually have the same thing going on, but you know what happens, don't you? Everybody start, going their own way, and we never accomplish anything. So what our instructions are at the National NAACP, every convention that we go to, they want you to have collaborations. They want you to be able to sit down with law enforcement. They want you to be proactive rather than reactive. They want you to be progressive. They want you to start having collaborations and partnerships so that we can be a part of the solution and not part of the problem. And so that's what we try to do. I'm not mad at what nobody else does or how nobody else feels.
Okay.
But that's not the NAACP.
Okay. So when we met last week,
yes,
it wasn't a planned meeting. It was sort of like, you came to your meeting,
mm-hmm.
you all put it down and called the police. So.
And we sat and talked for about an hour.
Exactly, right. And I thought we had an understanding. So when I came here today and I had to leave to get some paper, I don't know if it's true or not because I wasn't here. Someone said that you said Black Lives Matter wasn't going to do something or X, Y, and Z.
See, you ain't even got that.
And like I said,
okay, so
I
didn't ask me either.
But hold on one more second, then I'm going to sit down. Like James Baldwin says, I hear what you say, but I see what you do. And I want to see what you're going to do.
And that's okay. My life is on public display, and I don't mind that. And let me just say this, and everybody in this whole room can get upset with me if I want to, but I'm a deacon at my church, and I'm proud of being a deacon at my church. And they used to ask me to pray all over conventions, conferences, whatever, and I always prayed in the name of Jesus. And if they don't want me to pray, and I understand that you got other religions, I understand that. But for me as Ray Wood, if you ask me to pray, I'm going to pray in the name of Jesus, because that's the only name I know. But I'm okay with other people having ideas and how they do it. So my reality is this. I've never ever been, and I can say this for a fact, I've never been a part of any meeting like we had earlier today in no capacity of my life. I ain't never been there. So it's the first time for everything, but for whatever that I was a part of that made it go that way, I apologize. And I don't want that to happen, because I invited people here. I got guests here, and whenever I go to their house, they roll out the red carpet. They treat me with the utmost dignity and respect, and I appreciate that. So I got something on the inside of me that I got to deal with, because when they came into my house, into our neighborhood, Anna, where did I grow up at? I grew up right across the street. I grew up, this is my neighborhood. This is the first public building I ever been in out of high school. This is my, and so I feel some kind of way
about the way the course of this went, and I'm hoping and I'm praying that everybody will understand that the NAACP don't do things like that. Just for the record, with our agenda, we do an agenda every meeting. For those that come to our meetings, we have an agenda. We have protocol. We do it every single month. We didn't deviate from that, and I appreciate that the flock and the homies stayed. That they stayed for the meeting, but their intention was, and you're right, Baltimore, their intention was to come and give a presentation, and then they were going to go and let us have our meeting. So we put them up front. We appreciate they stayed, and I think that, you know, but as far as who the NAACP is, I'm not apologizing for anything, because it ain't about Ray Wood. It ain't about this board right here either, or the board members that ain't here. It's about something way bigger than me. It's about something that's been around for a lot longer than me, and it's about something that's going to be here long after I'm gone. It's the NAACP is who they are. Not trying to be like nobody else, and not trying to make nobody be like us. So and I hope that everybody in this room would take my apology for whatever part I played in this getting out of control, because this ain't what we do. And I appreciate your comments, Ms. Page.
Can we get a copy of the agenda? Where the agenda goes? I think everybody should have one. You didn't know what was on the agenda or not.
Well, yeah, what we normally do with our agenda is that's something to keep us on schedule, but we will in the future. We don't have them, but we will pass them out. So when you walk through the door, you'll be able to get an agenda.
Because all of that could have been a right.
Actually, it's actually for the executive committee.
Well, we can give them a jury. So no, I just want to say this real quick. That wasn't, Ms. Page, that wasn't going to be avoided, because people had it in their mind when they walked through that door that they were going to be confrontational and it was going to challenge. And just, let me say this about, and I looked this word up. I looked the word up. Coon. My grandfather was from Lake Providence, Louisiana, and they all lived in Mississippi. They had the house Negroes. You heard Malcolm X say it. They had the field Negroes, and then they had another set of Negroes that were not house or field. They called them coons. And what the coons did back in that days, it was a plantation name that the master gave to them because they didn't pick cotton fast enough, or they didn't pick enough cotton. And it kind of migrated throughout the years, the word coon. It kind of migrated to Sambo. It kind of migrated to step and fletching. And it kind of migrated to kind of put African Americans, to put black folks down. Some people have been called the N-word, but the coon word, we buried that a long time ago. So to hear that float out of the mouth of somebody who said that they're going to come to a meeting to try, and you come to the meeting, let's talk. Let's talk. Let's have.
Shut up.
Huh?
You told me to shut up.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you did.
And you don't. And just a second. Did you hear what I just said?
But he's making it worse. He keep apologizing, but then he keep redredging it and adding to it.
No. I got it.
Point of order. Point of order.
Yeah.
Point of order.
Well,
hold on for just a second, Ray. We gotta finish one order of business, and then they had his hand up, and we got a certain time we gotta be out of the library. If y'all want to stick around in the parking lot and chit chat or whatever way. Well,
and the other thing that I'm going to say, the other thing that I gotta say is that to say that or whatever, I don't remember it that way. I know I said it, but I also remember what you said, the inappropriate, unacceptable remarks you made to our guests. And that's what got me out of control. That got me out of control because nobody comes in our house, at least the house that I grew up in, whether it's public or not, and then go and disrespect someone to that extent. That's what started it with me. That's what started it with me. That's what started it with me.
So we have just a second, Nate. I'll carry this motion. You can have 2 minutes of controlled conversation. You're gonna be all right with that, right? And then we're gonna get up out of here. We spent some money today, so the members of the NAACP have to approve what the executive committee did. We supported the 2 Mile March with gang violence of $250. The African American Wellness March Walk, which is this Saturday, with $100, and we supported the Door Street Live. with Robert Smith. We're gonna have a table with the Lucas County Jobs and Children's Services. And we're giving them a donation for Doors Through Live, which is $150. So we need a motion to, and the state conference, which is what we have to do as an organization, is in September, to pay for our delegates and our fee that's due $125. So we need a motion from the members of the NAACP.
All of the organizations that you have, the executive board have supported and will support be approved as accepted.
Motion by Ms. Gabriel, is second on the motion? Second by brother over here from CWA. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? So moved. Nate.
My name is Nathaniel Livingston. I'm a life member of the NAACP, and so I believe I have a right to speak in my organization. I believe when you say it's your house, Ray, part of the problem is this ain't one man's house. This is supposed to be an organization of the many. I'm one of the many.
Okay, say what you got to say.
Now, I came to this meeting because you don't let us in the executive committee meetings. You don't let us in the finance committee meetings. You don't let us in any of the meetings except for the general meeting. And I see you on TV having a press conference saying that you're going to report back to the people. When you going to report? I would expect you to report in the general body meeting, which is the only time that you talk to us, the members, and to the community. So I came here today because Toledo police officers, even though you have a black and brown police officer code of conduct, police officers are still around the corner punching people in the face. On video, they send it to the NAACP. The NAACP has a press conference say, we're going to address that at a later time. That same officer who signed that complaint was one of the officers who shot and killed Lamar Richardson Jr. Now his name, and I don't got the last in my phone, that same officer, I believe, if the NAACP had gone down to the mayor and gone down to the chief in these meetings, you say you got relationships. What good is a relationship if you go down to the meeting after he's been caught on videotape punching a black man, and then you don't say he needs to be sat down, he needs to be suspended? Maybe if that man was suspended, he wouldn't have killed Lamar. He wouldn't have killed Chris Cuz. And so I believe that the community and the membership is owed an explanation. What did you say to the mayor and to the police chief when you went down there and met with him? Why did you say you're going to answer to us and explain what you're doing? And then we come to the meetings and you got Baltimore talking about taking a bus trip cross country to see some farm workers. I believe that our business, NAACP business, ought to be at the top of the agenda. And again, I'm a life member. I believe I have a right to stand up and say what I want my organization.
Okay, so you got your question, Ray. I'm sure we're going to address it.
Yeah.
And the executive board part of it is that people come to the executive board by requesting, and then we review it and allow them in. They don't just barge in. Anybody that speaks to the executive board, so if you got a written request, you send it to our communications team, and then you can come before if it's approved, you can come to the executive session. You can't barge in it. You ain't gonna barge in it. And then like you did the finance meeting the other day, from what I heard, because I wasn't there, but you're not gonna barge in it. But you can request it, Nate. And you say you're a life member, I believe you are, because you originated in Cincinnati. I ain't never seen it, but you can bring it to them, let me see your card. Your life membership card one day. But Ray, I asked you a question.
Yeah, let me say this. You know, you said that we did have a press conference. And one thing, see, that's the difference with the NAACP and other organizations. I like what President Obama said when he was in office and all of these reporters were surrounding him and saying, you ain't said nothing about this, President Obama, you ain't said nothing. How do you feel about this? And you remember what President Obama told him? He said, I'd like to know what I'm talking about before I open my mouth. And so what we do is that if we never said that we were going to come after you come to the next general membership meeting and we're going to have all the answers. We never said that. What we were clear in saying, you go back and look at it, we said that we were going to get the facts and find out what happened so we could know, instead of just getting out there, just opening our mouth just to say something and don't know what we're talking about. Well, guess what? I wasn't even in town. I came back Monday And I heard that happened, so we had a hurried press conference that Tuesday. But we felt that we needed to talk to the community, and we felt that we had to let them know that just like they were doing an investigation, we doing one. So guess what? Yeah, we did. I personally never met, but Brother Chris went down there, and God bless that he did, because everybody in this whole community said that this man right here kept it from being a riot, kept it from being something out of control. And guess what? He had some skin in the game. That's his cousin. Richardson is his cousin. Is it yours? It's his cousin. So ain't nobody really more intimately involved with their family than a family member. But he did go down there, and Robin's family. We got 2 of our board members that are intimately impacted by that. So you think that we just gonna go sit down somewhere and not try to have an understanding? But I sure ain't gonna say, well, they gonna be waiting for me to say something. So let me just say something, pull something out of here, and don't have my facts. I can't do that, because it's a reflection on the organization. If I don't know what I'm talking about, I can make it. Listen, it's a shame that we don't say what we need to say, and it's a shame that we say things that we shouldn't say. I'm sorry, Clyde.
So, Brad, you know, we had met with the mayor,
yes,
Gretchen DeBacker, chief of police,
that's right,
chief of staff several times, and we got another meeting coming up. The officer was in the same unit. They not the same officer that did it. Was not the same one that shot it. We have looked into this thoroughly, and we still pressing the mayor about this. We don't get out there and advertise it, but we push it, and we haven't gave up, and we pushing hard. We're not taking it lightly. So we know for a fact that the officers was not the same 2 individuals involved with the incident.
5 times in the back, all kinds of things. So if I take that information, just like some people might do, if I take that information and start spreading throughout the community, what type of integrity and respect am I gonna have? I gotta know what I'm talking about. And Clyde is absolutely 100% right. There are some people in this community, because the meeting that you had
happened 2 days after the fight on Detroit Avenue.
Yes.
2 days, exactly 2 days.
Yep, and I would have been there. I was out of town, but they invited me to be there. See, and that's why us as a community, we need to partnership. I don't know, we say this all the time. I don't know everything and I can't do everything, but together with everybody, other people's ideas, suggestions, and opinions, we can get somewhere. So it's still being investigated.
I have a question, or a statement, or well, really a question. Thank you. Just like our mayor up and speaks up for our city, just like our police chief up and spoke out and said, well, and I spoke to him myself. He said I have to stand behind the officers. We need our black leaders, even if you don't have the full investigation, even if it's not said and done, even if y'all are still boots on the ground. We need to know that we have leaders that are standing up and that are up and acting in our best interest.
Amen.
Amen. Wait, I'm not done. Because guess what? If they have theirs, the mayor up and stood up and spoke for them, and our leaders up and stood behind them. So we kind of up and felt like our leaders up and sold us out for a minute.
I was there.
You was there. I heard about you. No, I didn't hear you. But you know what? The mayor up and spoke of you and said you up and kept the peace. So you okay? That's good. But we didn't have anybody that up and reached out and said, "Hey, black people, I'm here for you. I'm investigating this." We didn't.
Okay.
Does anybody
remember
that?
Just a second. Okay, Clyde.
I'm gonna do you one thing better. I'm not a leader, but I'm a citizen.
Yes, sir.
And I didn't wait for no leaders. I called the mayor. I set up the meeting, and I talked to him.
I spoke to him too.
I'm not waiting on no leaders. I'm not waiting.
We should have them though.
So, well,
it's power and unity.
Unfortunately, some things gonna happen, some things ain't. If I wait for a leader, it's gonna be the same thing. So what we did as citizens that stay in that community, I don't stay in Savannah, I don't stay out west, I stay right here in the inner city. As a citizen, we call him and we put every last one of them feet on the carpet and we asked tough questions.
And what did you get?
And we talked about solutions.
Who got suspended?
And nothing else.
Say again, what happened?
Yeah,
Or
what-
is that still like an ongoing
It's still
investigation?
ongoing. We meet them again.
We don't want to be out of order, but can he tell us what happened?
But you know what I'm
Who
saying?
got suspended?
That's beautiful.
We not. Let me finish, please. Let me tell you.
I said that's beautiful.
And I'm
Sorry.
this is the honest God truth. We told them up front, I'm not having no meeting just to have another meeting. And not only that, we met with the mayor, and just yesterday we met with city council.
Who got suspended, Clyde?
We working on that. We working on that.
We need to unite.
And it ain't, cause you gotta
We need to
understand,
unite.
it's unions, it's a whole bunch of things going on with that. But we're not taking our foot off the paddle with that. They met with city council, we told them they got things to do as well. And we're not waiting for a particular leader or anybody else to step up and say, hey, we need your help. We gonna do it ourselves, period.
Well, you know what? Even Sir Clyde, within your group, you should have a leader. There's nothing wrong with leadership.
Okay, you guys can, we're gonna stop for a second, Ray, because you guys can finish the other side, they call it parking lot conversation. We have to clean this up and be out of here at 8:30, so we're gonna entertain, it's 8:15. We love y'all, take the pieces with you and so forth. We thank y'all for coming, and we appreciate what took place here today.
Yes.
Go ahead, talk about my council kids program. Take a couple minutes.
Okay, yeah, do that.
My name is George Hayes. I started this program 4 years ago. And I know, like, the conversation been going, we do have bad officers, but overall, we got good officers.
That's right.
Now, I run a youth bowling league, been doing it since 2001, from kids ages 4 to 20. So I see a lot, I hear a lot, I watch all the news. I started this program, it's a one-day